Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. As usual, as soon as we start this program, you can begin to bat or begin to bowl. Pick up your telephone and give us a call. We do not have a subject matter on this program. We speak about anything: politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, any issue trending, any topical issue of the day. The most important part of this program is you can introduce your own subject matter. So it's not about what we talk about. You want to speak about something in particular, introduce it. You want me to speak about something, please tell me. Once I have a little knowledge about it, I'll speak about it. And if I do not have enough knowledge, I'll introduce the topic and encourage people to make comment. You see, we could solve our problems in Grenada. One person or one group may not be able to do it. But if all of us serve as a think tank, we could solve our problems. Every ministry, every department of government, all big businesses should establish a little think tank. If you believe the service is your biggest challenge, establish a think tank. How are we going to improve the service? We have to believe in ourselves. We have to have confidence in ourselves. And we must take pattern from the past so we could go forward without making the mistakes of the past. Some young people may not know the past. That is why in some areas they say a village without elders is dead. Welcome, caller.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre, and
yes,
the Talking Points family. I'm not Talking Points, I mean
On Target. On Target.
Again, chat with the
yes,
family.
a lot of them. Yeah.
Also, I want to say that a special good day and happy birthday to one of my favorite listeners, Amanda. I think she's on work right now, but Amanda is one of your favorite followers, and she listens all the time. So happy birthday to Amanda. She told me this morning.
Yes.
Also, I want to say condolences to the family of the guy that lost his life to the tragic circumstances that is happening in Grenada.
There is somewhere in Guava somewhere?
Well,
okay.
Somewhere there. I really know, but
okay.
The news is really coming out. That comes to said, today I'm seeing there's a meeting with the RSS in Grenada. Sad to say that this meeting is happening on the heights of a tragic gun incident, right? Because the guy got shot. What I'm saying to the security services in Grenada and the Minister of National Security in connection with this data bill, they are focusing on things that is not important, right? This bill could take a backseat and deal with the rising violence, gun violence that seems to be plaguing the Caribbean, St. Lucia, Jamaica, and it seems to be seeping through Grenada. It seems, right? And this is what we're supposed to be focusing on. The Prime Minister is the head of the RSS right now. I am making a special plea to him. Look at this thing seriously and please recluse on this bill, put it back for a little bit, and then we'll come to it. Because what is happening in Grenada right now is something that seems to be evident. There was an incident that happened in the Belmont area, right? And I'm not blaming any government, NDC or NNP, but it happened under both governments. There seems to be a rise in gun violence. The Prime Minister, the Honorable Prime Minister, this time right now is saying that he's putting things in place to curb, and they're trying to put things in place. But gun amnesty is for countries that have serious gun violence. We don't have it yet. Let me nip it in the bud. I want us to nip it in the bud now. The violence is coming out of hand. I'm seeing a video with a young chap hitting another chap with a violent weapon. And I mean, teenage people are not supposed to be engaging in such things if you are training children right. So, Mr. PM, Minister of National Security, Minister of Social Services, let us get together and let me do the thing, because what is happening right now, the dividing Grenada right now, with this violence and economics with the accidents and the nonsensical things that are happening, let me get together. And before I leave, Mr. Pierre, please advise the people that there's a Zoom meeting tonight on the consultation of the data bill. I think NMP has a Zoom link on my feed. So I would like you guys to share it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's important for us to discuss the thing. And the president of the bar, Mr. Robert Ferguson, I think he is also going to have some kind of input into the bill later on, probably in his meetings with the people of Grenada. So let's get this thing done. And seriously, we need to get safety in Grenada. We're concerning this gun thing because it is getting better. Have a good day.
Yes, Colonel, I expect the violence in Grenada to increase. You see, about 4 or 5 years ago, I was constantly making mention that we are heading the road to increase the level of social decadence, social problems, and violence. Out of the 9 countries with the highest murder rate in the world, out of the 30 countries with the highest murder rate in the world, it is said that 9 of them are from the Caribbean. That is not so good. You know, Grenada was not involved in it. But obviously, sometimes we don't pay attention to these things. Society don't just break out and have violence. Jamaica had one of the lowest crime rate in the early 60s. One of the lowest crime rate in the world. And now their crime rate is very, very high. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, good day.
Yes, scholar.
Yeah, that caller always makes some valid contribution, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would like to do, you don't play clips, so I would like to compile all the lies the Pierre make, and if you could read it out for me. I was listening yesterday, I think you recall, but listening and Coach Man was trying to, although he know, because he listen to all programs, he know, but he just trying to deny that. And I want to congratulate you on the other hand. You see, when you started off, you had less than 100 views, but right now you view 30 grand. So I congratulate you on that, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, bless up. Take care.
And we must never forget the amount of people that listen on the radio. You know? One of the challenges we have, sometimes we have little children in our homes. And you could see if you don't stem the problems in the home, while the children is 4 or 5 years, you're going to have problems later on. And this is the challenge we have in Grenada. If you notice now, there are no groups in the schools. Before, there was a lot of groups. There was musical bands. There are no groups in Grenada. The schools are not having concerts at the end of the year. They're having fair and dance, not concert. The language that's used is very violent. I spoke about it on many occasions years ago. You go to a school activity and the songs are playing are really pornographic songs, pornography, for 12 o'clock in the night. I like these songs, but it must be 12 o'clock in the night when you're ready to make a pickup. They're asking to see the tattoo below the navel. The soca artists are giving instructions. The women whining like plane. They're asking how you want it, real hard. And the soca artists that fail English language in school. We have over 500 soca artists. And I'm willing to bet over 90% of them, over 90% of them did not leave school with the basic requirements. Now, we saw these problems coming. Those who believe that they have qualification, they secure. They abscond the community. They ignore the community. Go and look in the communities that are struggling to have groups and see if we have any of our professionals, our success stories, or bright boys and girls in it. They won't join this group and them. They abandon the groups. The schools don't have groups. The boys are not going on hike anymore. Because maybe the St. Joseph Convent might have girl guides at 1 or 2 schools. The only school in Grenada that have an active choir is PBC, Presentation Boys College. I applaud this principle. If I had a picture of him, I would have put it on my petition. Because he was able years and years to maintain a boys' choir. We don't have it on the other schools. We had COVID-19. They said Jab had the rights. So they defy all the rules about COVID-19. They play the Jab. Sotes was the elite point for Jab. And over 16 people die in a home. We ain't care about that. Yes, scholar, welcome. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good day, sir.
Yes, my brother.
It is a right.
Go right ahead.
Post one is predicting that there is a problem in the security system of this country. So people are starting to get frightened. People, because if your security have problems, that could cause the crime to be higher than it normally be. I don't know, it is alleged. I'm not confirmed about it, but I was told that the security is not stable in this country. So we're heading for serious trouble. I want Grenadians to take note. Also, you said a very good thing yesterday. You said in the revolution, there was no high unemployment rate as now. And I agree with you because a lot of us who had a job had also run, including me. So
yeah,
there was a lot of job available. So still the revolution had a little more jobs than what we have now. So I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yes, the revolution jailed 3,000, 4,000 run from the country. About 300 Rasta make for the woods. So unemployment drop.
Yes, I want to.
Yeah. All your life is the politics. Yes, scholar. So you see, there are a number of factors that contribute to high crime. The previous government, under Dr. Kit Mitchell, had a structural adjustment program. No one lost their job. No salary was not cut. Government increased social spending and employ more than 3,000 people, one lash. Now, any country you have with high unemployment, you're going to have a rise in crime. Particularly if the high unemployment is among the younger people. This government, I believe, helping to propagate high crime. Yes, scholar, welcome. Yes, scholar, welcome. We look as we lost that caller. Try and call back again. The actions, the expressions of this government is a facilitator for social decadence and high crime. Why do I say that? The government came into power and immediately within 9 months, the government coming into power, over 1,500 people lost their jobs. You see, the government set up the people. What is dangerous about the unemployment problem here? People had jobs. They was very comfortable that they would not lose their job. A political party promised them. They promised them to better their employment status. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Go right ahead.
You're talking about the crime rate.
Yeah.
St. George here in St. George's Estate, there's just a young man every evening with a cutlass walking the road and threatening people. Every evening, a month now, they chop up one with a cutlass and walking up and down the road and telling you, we see in trouble, so we will do what we have to do. I'm telling you what's going on. So you don't lie, a lot of crime will happen, especially with the young people. And some of them going to school, and they have their mother. They mightn't have a father in the house, but they have their mother. So you know what's going on in the place. Have a good evening.
Yes, caller, and I said this thing going to get worse. You see a number of factors that we refuse, we ignore for no justifiable reason. And I believe this present government, the philosophy of the government, the attitude of the government, the expressions of the government is going to facilitate an increase in social decadence and crime. Why do I say that? There were some people who had jobs. They were comfortable in their jobs. Yes, caller, welcome.
Afternoon, Mr.
Welcome, caller.
Hello, I'm on?
Yes, you're on punch.
Yes, I need to point some things that I observed. And I'm talking about the crime situation. And I mentioned as a young boy growing up, I was in Police Boys Club, you had the God's Guide, you have all those people. Now today, what happened? We had Police Boys Club. So you knew what happened in your country, in the villages, before it happened. Where are the people doing the country patrol? So you could know when a gang from another side have a warring thing, and you could get there and fix that. Nip it in the bud before. I'm not seeing this. I am seeing Sunday gone, I seen so many policemen checking for seat belts and tires. Where are the bikes? Where are the people going out in the country and find out what is taking place? We can't fight crime. We can't fight crime after it happened. We had to fight it long before. We must know what's taking place in the villages. Our boys are going down the road, going out of hand, and it's very, very strange. It's hurting to see what is really happening. People want a job. They don't come and say they're asking for a job. Give me a hustle. You know. We need to do something. The government need to do something. The police force are calling on the commissioner of police. Get out there. Take example as the old-time policemen. Find the clubs. Let it go out in the villages and find out what is taking place. Somebody's going to tell you. The kid have love for you. They're going to want to join the police force. Not just for the money, but for the love of it. And we could know exactly what happened in the villages, because in every village have a school child. And if they love the police, they will be able to tell the police what is taking place, and they can go out and solve the problem long before the thing happen. That's my contribution.
Yes, caller, welcome. And I'm saying I'm not surprised. And I've always said within the next 4 to 10 years, the crime situation in Grenada is going to rise sharply. Recently, we had the Grenada Trade Union Council, not the Grenada Trade Union Council, the unions. They declared war on children. They declared war on children. They strike. They decided they was going to go to the school and not speak to the nation children. They decided that on lunchtime, they're going to move out from the school, and they hope by their absence, violence would have taken place. They refused to speak to parents. They decided that they would not support any groups or organization. They call it extracurricular activity. Call a punch. Yes, call a punch.
Yes, man. I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed, because I was an advocate towards Police Boys Club. And I have lawyers come from this, doctors come from this, little children that you treat. And I'm calling on those who, in authority, revisit the scene. Go back and look for old police outside. They have enough experience. They can teach, voluntarily teach and assist. You know, a village cannot go up without the elders. As you said, I'm right about it. Thank you very much.
Yes, TUC Kawana say we go fill it in with belly. We doesn't realize that what we do today going to affect us tomorrow. 70% of our children going to school and cannot meet the minimum requirement, and the Ministry of Education is not concerned. And now we have a chief education officer, not a chief education officer. The Minister of Education, I expect him to do nothing good. Because they're involved in a program of political mischief. And my biggest concern is when this victimization that the NDC government is entrenching end up in the schoolhouse. When the victimization that they're institutionalizing become entrenched in the schoolhouse because it's going to reach. Right now, I don't know if you know that, but we have Imanis that not getting pay. Could you imagine you in the same workplace, but some of your colleagues getting paid and the government has not paid others? No explanation. And those that not getting paid, you could directly identify their parents as NNP. The Prime Minister, this is what the journalists in Grenada and those in the diaspora must ask Dick Mitchell, the Prime Minister of Grenada. What injustice that these people do him, that he's practicing his restorative justice on them. The month of February passed, we in 20th January plus, and some of the Imani don't get paid. These are poor people children, you know. The rich man child is not Imani. They don't have to do that. The children who came out from school in flying colors, they're not Imani. The children the government tried to give a second chance is Imani. And this government is shafting them. They got shafted in school because 70% of the children in school cannot meet the minimum requirement. It means that they are not as competitive on the job market. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Now, it's a hard thing when you vote for people who doesn't like people. What do you expect them to return to you? Look, when the LDC was campaigning, they was campaigning on all kind of sweet promises. Now, for them to activate those promises, they're sending people home and not paying them. I mean, how could you, a man work, he pay boss, he pays spending money, and you send him home without paying him, make it worse. You have people who work together with them. How you expect them to feel?
Yes, scholar, and that's the sad part.
Huh?
And but some of them they can squeak, you know.
But Mr. Pierre, I mean, what already going on with human beings? Are we anti-human or are we real people?
We have a little bit of evil in us.
Yeah.
And we have to, that is why we need to speak to suppress the evil in us.
Yeah, but we have to talk sometimes.
But you see,
go ahead.
Yeah, this government come in and like they raise the evil.
Yes.
Because they want to institutionalize victimization. And a lot of people glad, you know, they're rejoicing that some people not getting paid.
Is it benefiting from that?
Well, I don't know how they could benefit.
Because they're evil.
I can't even see the political justification in that.
But the only statement you could make towards that is the evil. Now, that's the modus operandi. That's how the NDC operates. So I can't understand how come people had the decent job. When you go at the end of the month, you could see something in the sun walking and buy something. And because somebody tell you something nice, you just go and give them your support, and now they send you home. How will you feel? I mean, as a human being, I don't know how people feel about that. By the end of the day, Mr. Pierre, you have to continue doing what you're doing.
Yes,
if you don't continue to do what you're doing, obviously things will be still worse.
Yes,
so may God bless you and your program.
About 4 years ago, I said, in the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to see the effect of the mistakes we're making here. We declare war on children. We had 6 people who went Olympians. But our journalist was concentrating to stop jab, to defy the World Health Organization, the power and government policies that they take to manage COVID-19. 16 people died in a home. 1 man left the home. I understand some women that go and look for him. Police didn't even bother. They never get him. Could you tell me an elderly man leave a home? Nobody make no big fuss about it, because jab have rights. They said the elderly people are likely to die. You saw the gross level of disrespect and lack of empathy and compassion for the elderly in the country. Lawyers was saying jab have rights. No member of the National Democratic Congress, no member except Ray Roberts, publicly encourage people to take vaccine. And another one, the one I can't remember his name, but I think it was Singh. He went out once, and they even attacked him for doing it. Only 2 of them, only 2 members of the NDC publicly identify themselves with the COVID-19 management program. We had the Prince of Hate for years on radio preaching hate, cussing people when they was wearing national colors. What we expect? We create the environment, and the NDC now facilitates the process. What you expect? If you're pushing for violence, what you expect? People to come and pray? You fired people. Now you have people walking, and you're not paying them. And they're not saying one word. They're afraid to protest. Some of them giving you the information in secret. One girl come to me, she afraid to use her phone. She asked me to explain the bills for her. She afraid to use her phone. So she walked to me to tell me that it seems in the caregiving program that they find them one by one. The Minister of Social Affairs gave the parliamentary representative, the okay that she's going to keep some of them except the coordinator. And now the Minister of Social Affairs seems to be firing them one by one. I was told so by one of the workers. She didn't want to use her phone. I can't call her name. I remember Onisto was begging me to call names and bring them on my program. But I couldn't do that because I know he wants to victimize them. Some of them is concerned about the children in school. Imagine the depth of this vindictiveness of the government. When I understand they fired the labor commissioner because they say she had plenty friends and family that is NNP. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
This story where you talk about Jolly, they are lie. Once you can verify you, that is a lie. Mr. Pierre, you talk about 75% of our children and know nothing. Mr. Pierre.
Caller, let me tell you what I said. You want me to tell you what I said? Caller.
For the past 9 years, the government of Grenada never teach them nothing, so they would know nothing. What the government of Grenada do? Nothing for the past 9 years. So they can't know nothing. They teach them, they ain't teaching them nothing. So they would know nothing. The most government of school because for the past 9 years, I don't know nothing to them. I don't encourage them. That is nonsense. All you get them with for the past 9 years. You have a good day.
Yes, caller. Caller, when you hear I speak on radio, I dare you to take me on, I said 70% of the children exiting school cannot meet the minimum requirement. And the best way you could do that is pick up the telephone, go and ask the statistic division. And if it's 69.5%, I'll humbly apologize. If it's 69.8%, I will apologize and tell you I'm sorry. So caller, go and ask the statistic division. Ask any minister and tell him, make his statement public as me. And if it is 69.5% caller, I'll apologize. Caller, I speak because I believe. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
Mr.
caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, this mental man, he have to call you and tell you.
But that is important. You could always say, remember what we say, ecstasy. The guy wants to walk away without the truth. We have to tie the truth on him.
Well, I don't know what do that, man.
Over a period of time, he's going to pick up the telephone. He's going to ask one of the NDC ministers. And they have to make their statement publicly. You see, when they make, that is why they're hiding from the press.
Oh.
That is why the NDC ministers are hiding from the press.
That man lacking.
No, well, he's going to take some time.
That man need people to educate him.
Well, we're going to try.
If he do know what NDC stands for, is no disaster come.
Yeah.
That is what NDC stands for. And we've seen it every minute, every hour, every second. Grenada, let us try and put ourselves in the hands.
And we have to continue the dialogue. We must dialogue.
No, but that man doing a little
too but
much.
We cannot get up. You see, when people differ with us, we have to have patience with them.
No.
Because we cannot solve the problems in Grenada would not solve overnight, you know. It's a mentality problem.
That one doing a little too much, and you're giving him too much chances.
No, he needs chance.
I even listened to Chairman yesterday.
You see, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Okay.
So we have to have patience.
Okay.
We have the same thing in our communities.
What?
We have to have patience and explain to them.
No.
Yeah.
Patience, yes, we have to have patience, but the patience with things that make sense.
Yeah, we have to have
that
more.
Could
we still have to have
yourself.
More. Yeah, we still have to have
things that you could learn off. But that man haven't got nothing. I mean, you know when you have a bag of coals?
No,
caller, we getting in.
No,
that
caller.
Is that.
No. Thank
yes.
You. All right, thank you, caller. We have to prepare to discuss these issues. These issues sometimes is challenging. It's better to put a lie outside there. It's easy to face a lie. But the truth is hard. Yes, caller, welcome.
Afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
That regular cost I'm calling of you. Please, I hope you have enough pressure tablet to give him because your hospital don't have none to give him. I find that man getting on too much.
No, caller, we need to be tolerant to one another's views.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, but you give him too much time. 1 hour you have to for the people to hear you. Why you give too much time, Mr. Pierre?
But you see, the program is a lot about what people say.
Yes,
you see,
every day the man comes.
Caller, if you want to change the National Democratic Congress heart, you must prepare to listen to them. You must prepare because they feel that they're right, you know. They say let them people starve, you know.
Mr. Pierre,
they say let them pale stone in the river.
He doesn't have a heart. He don't have one. So I don't know why you're wasting your hour with him.
Okay, caller. Well, let's move on. You see, it's very important for us to get our people to understand that what our biggest challenge is to change the mentality of the people, you know. Grenada is a more fortunate position than most countries in the Caribbean. We have more landowners in Grenada than anywhere else in the Caribbean. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Make a statement there, and I wanted to clarify who said that to let them to go and question you. Who said? Tell the people who say. Don't go and make bigger discussion and you don't know who said. identify who say it, and then tell us who. Don't come and say nonsense about it. Tell them show stories. Who was it? Could them stop it?
All right, thank you, caller. So you see, we need to, yes, I was saying Grenada is a change of mentality we have. We have landowners. We could ask the question, are you making enough income from the land that you have? If we have a schools in Grenada and government is investing 11% of the GDP, 10 or 11% of the GDP on education, why is it that 70% of the children that exit school cannot meet the minimum requirement? Something is wrong. What we need is to change attitude. Our people like shows. So prior to COVID-19, every month we have a big show in Grenada. Sellout show. But the same people that go into the shows and spending maybe $50 or more would not spend $5 for a child to learn to play a musical instrument. The people going to the schools in fair and dance would not encourage the school to have a little concert so they go have their children like Emanuela and Auntie. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
And that is the reason why I keep saying patience is a virtue. Now, the caller is alluding to certain things and he's going on all sorts of arrogance and he's going all over the place, right? No. The NDC is in office. Why is his argument what the NNP did for the last 10 years? You are focusing on what's happening right now for the next, 4 years? What is the problem? Can you explain? The thing is, we choose and we can pick all these problems, and then when we do it, we blame the prior administration. If you continue doing that, or the government, this government, continue doing that, they will do it like what they did in 1998, or whenever there was there, 2008, and 2003. They're failing. Admit it better. You're speaking facts, Mr. Pierre, and continue doing the facts. Please, let's continue doing it. Because
yes, caller, thank you. Sometimes we play right in the hand of disinformation and propaganda. We have to avoid playing in the hand of disinformation and propaganda. We have a situation in Grenada where we have an increase in violence. We have to prepare for more violence. It would increase before it cooled down. St. Lucia today is calling on the rest of islands to assist them. And St. Lucia believe the answer is to go in parliament and pass laws. That's not the answer. You have enough laws. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
I still believe, based on the examples we had from COVID-19, now I hope the politicians are listening, because according to who speak, they don't listen. This is the time for us to revive agriculture based on what we saw happening during COVID and the tourism industry. We cannot rely and depend on the tourism industry. It could fall out any time. I hope, Mr. Pierre, that the leaders in this country are having something in the pipeline to revive agriculture. But for them to do that, they must re-educate both the teachers and the students about agriculture. Agriculture could come back on foot, but they have to take a re-education of the process so that the children will have a different perspective of agriculture. So, Mr. Pierre, every now and again, keep on throwing it out. And I hope somebody might listen one day. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, caller. We have to believe we could make the difference. We have to face the truth. Deacon Mitchell, I said before, I think he's a fake. And I said why. You have children that involved in the Imani program. Now the NDC always hostile towards the Imani program. Why? I don't know. I don't know if it's because it's a good program. Because I believe that is the best program that have been instituted in Grenada in the last 100 years to give the people that need a second chance a more competitive edge on the job market. That is the best program. So it's a wonder to me that you have a political party that hate this program. Why do I say they hate the program? In 2008, after mounting criticism of the program, the NDC campaigned that it would increase the amount of money that the people getting from $700 to $1,000. At the same time, they promised they would increase the elderly pay, the physically challenged, to $450. Immediately the NDC come in power. They canceled the program. They changed the program name and they fire over half of the people. They never give the elderly these $400. In 2022, when the NNP government come back in 2013, they brought back more children on the program. They changed the name. They say it's the new Imani. More people came back. And they had Project Fly. Project Fly. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, sir, good afternoon.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, I would like to congratulate you in the way that you are handling your program. You see, you brings me right back to Proverbs 26. And if one starts reading from Proverbs 26:3, and it says, a whip for the horse, and a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the fool's back. Do not answer a fool according to his folly. According to his folly, lest you also be like him. Mr. Pierre, thank you, sir. Keep on doing your good work.
Yes, caller. So after the promise, during the campaign 2022, the NDC apologized to the Imani. They say what we did to you in 2008 was wrong. We make a political mistake. We're going to make you permanent. So they don't promise to give them more money now. They promise to make them permanent. And they promise to give the elderly people $600. They quote the World Health Organization. They chastise the previous government for giving them $450. Immediately when the NDC come in power. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, afternoon.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm concerned about the fact that we been asking the dead man to lead us along, Morris Bishop. We've been asking him for help. Now, the devil doesn't make mistakes. He's not an idle young fella. He's not a baby like Jesus. Satan is not a baby Satan. And if you're going to employ baby Satan, you better know he's not coming for you alone. He's coming for every one of us. That baby Satan, that my prime minister been calling on to help him and to help Grenada. Now, I don't believe in him. I don't believe in him at all. And I'm concerned because the level of violence and all those accidents that is taking place in this island, we've never seen that before. All those fires that been blazing people home and so on, vehicles capsizing and all kind of thing, even the Prime Minister himself. Satan make one lash behind him the other when he was going in Parliament. He cannot escape. But Satan don't give up like that. He'll be coming back to him. And these are things that we have to be conscious about. And my concern, bigger concern, is that those church leaders, Mr. Pierre, those church leaders like Stanford Simon and these boys and them, they're so closely entwined in it. Those leaders, Stanford Simon and them, that knows what the devil give. Of course, we know what they preach is closer to Satan than anything else. but they should direct people away from Satan. And they never said anything. In fact, they're doing similar things to what was done by Deacon Mitchell with that light. In fact, nowadays they have blocker on the road. They said, what church on the move? They put it that way, church on the move. They're going around in the community and having church. But the same thing like what they've been doing during the campaign. Trying to call Satan to assist us. And this is dangerous. Anybody who goes behind the dead to invoke the dead is a devil himself. And we must know, we must call them out. They are devils. They are agents of Satan, and we cannot have them leading us in any way. Deacon has been calling on the devil to lead him, to lead this country. All those how much ministers he has with him, he been calling on the devil to lead them. And you have even some NNP who love that he's speaking and joining it too. They want Satan to come and help them. When you call on Morris Bishop, you're actually calling on Satan. Morris Bishop is an agent of Satan. So when you call on Morris Bishop, you're actually calling on Satan. Mr. Pierre?
And caller, thank you, caller. But caller, we have to be careful we don't do the same thing. Yes, thank you, caller. We have to be careful we don't do the same thing, because Morris Bishop could have seen salvation on the last minute. Remember, he was lined up against a wall, and he could have turned to God on the last minute. So we cannot say Morris Bishop was the devil. He had done serious harm to this country. In addition to that, Deacon could just be playing politics. That's why I say he's a fake. He embraced Morris Bishop's spirit, but yet he destroyed marketing board. These two things don't make sense. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, just want to support this guy who now called a while ago. Because you remember when Saul went to Samuel, to the witch of Endor, to invoke Samuel? Who came up? Was it Samuel?
Yeah, you let the spirit rest in peace.
It's a Satan, it's an angel of Satan that came up and in the form of Samuel. Because you see, the church, right now, Mr. Pierre, the church was bought.
Right, caller, just a while. Almost all Grenadians are Christians. So the people who doing that, they're going to church too. So sometimes when we say the church, are we talking about the pastor, the men of cloth, and the priest? Because all these people are church people.
Mr. Pierre, I'm talking about all of them you call it.
Well, yes, so we say the church, but you don't expect the leader of the church to come out every minute making things about politics. And I have not heard any churchman encourage people to go and do wrong things.
Mr. Pierre, the church ain't going to come out and say that this church was bought. If you notice what happened during COVID, they got a set of money from the federal government. Where did they get the money for? To shut up. The church should be pretty.
Well, I don't know if they got money. Caller, I don't know if they got money.
I am telling you.
From the federal government?
I'm telling you.
You mean the United States of America?
Yes, that's right.
Who got our money? The church?
The churches, well, it might be, they won't put it like, don't hear God. But
well, you see, that's the same thing. We ending up in areas where we have no proof, we don't know, we might believe. And I know sometimes people always want the church to make statements in politics. And sometimes I am very wary of that. Because at one stage I wanted them to condemn NNP. And I want them to condemn NDC. But all the church members are Christians. Deacon Mitchell must be going to church too.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is to point, because the devil could cite scripture for its purpose. And all of us sometimes pelt around texts conveniently. So these issues are straightforward, and we could deal with it straightforward.
All right.
Yeah? We could tell the government, you can, what reason, what justification you have for paying some members of e-money and you're not paying others. And it's not to say you have some in the same workplace And it seems that they are selecting people not to pay. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, do you know not everybody that go to church is not Christian? Is a relationship with you and your God. Not going to church. Church can save
We have to be very careful when we get judgmental. Remember, Saul was saved on the road to Damascus.
Of course, yes.
And he became one of the biggest pillars of the church.
Yes, but not everybody that go to church are Christian, Mr. Pierre. The relationship with you and God that counts. Not going to church. Church can save none of us.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Yes, you see, there are a lot of issues. Now is the period of Lent, and all of us have to look inwards, and we can change things. Perhaps we expect the head of a church to come and make statement. As soon as he open his mouth, half of them NDC against him, half of them NNP jumping up, and all sort of issues. These people in the church encourage people to do what is right. I'm not saying sometimes they don't push a little politics. But generally, the pastors, the priests, the ministers, I've listened to a lot of them, and I've never heard them encouraging people to take advantage on people. I heard pastors and priests telling people, you must work honestly when you go to work. You must treat people fair. But all of us fall short of the glory of God. And where politics is concerned, we could seriously mislead. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre,
yes, caller, welcome.
A Christian is somebody who died in Christ. That's a Christian. You could go to church all you want. If you die in Christ, you'll be a Christian.
Okay.
Apart from that, there is nobody.
All right.
Mr. Pierre, listen to me. You're saying that people go to church, they go bad than anybody. How you know that?
Caller.
Yes.
You constantly quoting me wrong. Sometimes I let you get away with it. Caller. I think you purposely trying to say, I say this and I say that. And that is not good. And when I stop, you must hear. Call back. But you quoting me wrong. Because sometimes I go back and listen to my program. Now, and you got me there this time. You got me to stray. Yeah. Now, we make this statement that all of us are Christians. When you say you're a Christian, you are a follower of Christ. It doesn't mean that we don't know who's going to go to heaven and who's going to go to hell. And I give the example with Paul and Saul and King David. All of them was wretched men. But people could change. And same way Bishop could have changed on the last minute. He did a number of things in Grenada that we have to speak about that was unacceptable. But the manner in which he saw for the last couple days before he died, he could have had a rude awakening and change his attitude. He begged them, don't turn the guns on the people. And he could have changed. So we cannot be too judgmental and say he's the devil. When somebody dies, we pray for the soul to rest in peace. So Deacon had no right to trying to interfere with Maurice Bishop's spirit. And Deacon was not a socialist. Why do I say that? If he was a socialist, he would not have come and closed down Marketing Board. He embraced Daniel Ortega and them in Cuba. And look at the manner in which he treated the Haitians. He promised the workers that he would make them permanent. He promised them, he gave them reasons, justification, rationale. Even promises that they were able to go to the bank when Deacon knew that was not true. He promised to raise the pay to $600. He quoted the World Health Organization. And then he went and cut the pay. Deacon Mitchell established a ministry of mischief, MIT. Why do I say that? Deacon said it is not so much transformation, but restorative justice. And look at what is going on. Why is it he's not paying some children, some young people that involved in the Imani program? He promised to make them permanent. Then the government come up with a policy, anyone over 35 have to go home. And they cut the budget of the Imani. So I think they're using a frustration tactics. Well, how could you do that in our society? And why people agrees with that? This thing is clear and simple, it is wrong. And that is going to contribute to more violence in our society. 60% of the household are led by women. The majority of people that lose their job are women. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 17 years, 19 years working constantly. They are thrown out of the job without any explanation. Now, how that could be? Those that got letters, some of them got letters because they claim that they had political inclination. They can remove $150 from the elderly pay, but he increased his. And they're flying all over the world as if they are rich, rich people. You must have an increase in violence in this country. I'm not surprised. I practically said years ago, if we continue on that trajectory, within 5 to 10 years, we're going to have more violence. We might be concerned about St. Lucia, but it's reach here. And the government of Grenada, the National Democratic Congress, is facilitating the process of increased violence in the country. How do you explain the government fired 30 workers from Paradise, from Granba Estate? Granba and Paradise kind of closely intertwined. From Granba's estate, 30 workers have been fired. I think they keep 4. They have crops in the field that are not being harvested. The workers that involved in the management of source of pests, about 10 of them, over 3 years they've been working. Is all these workers the government promised to make permanent? They got rid of them. They're home. Coco Jenna pie. They're eating stewing and sunsas. You don't expect increase in violence? When it affects us, then we complain. The writing was on the wall. But we refuse to pay heed to it. We're back with you tomorrow between 12 and 1 for another session of our program On Target. And we always welcome callers. And you don't have to be upset or angry if somebody differ with you. Let us have patience and tolerance with one another and change the situation in this country. All of us are good people in Grenada, unlike what the National Democratic Congress are advocating. Thank you.